Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 34. Yes, 34. Oh my gosh, it's steady going. I'm hitting 3 years. I got a big surprise coming up for you guys, 3 years. But thank you so much for watching Creating Your Career with Marla J. Alberti. We are back with another wonderful guest, Miss Annie Rivera. Go ahead and say hello to everybody, Annie.
Hello, everybody. How are you all?
Yes, I'm so excited to talk to Annie about her career and what she's doing and how you can get involved with doing what she's doing and how you can create your path. But of course, before I read her bio, I always like to talk about how I met the person. You guys know this. So this is funny, guys. You have to be active in your Facebook groups. So I'm in quite a few Facebook groups. And one of the Facebook groups I'm in is called Women Helping Women. It's an entrepreneurial group. Oh my God. I forgot how many people are in there. Thousands of people are in there. So I don't know the exact thread that happened, but Annie and I met through there, and she had a podcast. I was a host on her podcast, and now she's on my talk show.
Yeah.
And that is how we met. And we've kind of kept in contact. We follow each other on social media, Instagram, the IG, so this is how you make connections, guys. I talk about this all the time in the show. You got to be open to making connections with people. Get outside of your box. So this is so exciting. So before I go into reading her bio, of course, this episode is brought to you by theworkingwoman.co. That is my blog. Check it out. The Truth Speaks group. We create multimedia resources for the working woman who works 9 to 5 to help her create work-life harmony and not work-life balance. So go out to workingwoman.co, check out the blog, subscribe, get your free How to Live in Harmony workbook, and let's take it on from there. So let's read Annie's bio so we can hear how she's creating her career. Annie Rivera is a multifaceted performer, YouTube creator, influencer, podcaster, social media maven, I love that, communications guru from Southern California. She fell in love with musical theater in high school, and after graduation, she attended United States International University School of Performing and Visual Arts with emphasis in singing, acting, and dancing. With more than 20 years of experience, Annie's YouTube channel and podcast reach a wide demographic ranging from baby boomers to Gen Xers to millennials, and of course, the new generation coming up. And that's Generation Alpha coming up. They're still in school, but they're coming. Segments include celebrating awareness, highlighting your unique self, worldly and national seldom celebrated awareness. I like that. Annie Talks, that's her podcast, a platform which features artists, entertainers, community leaders, and beyond, whose stories should be told. I love it. When she's not recording and editing videos or podcasts, performing on stage, sitting in an audience as a theater goer or exercising, Annie loves spending time with her family, including her grown 4 children, her friends and her dog, watching movies, and listening to island music. I love island and reggae music as well. She's also seen frequenting the Disneyland resorts, which have all been closed down. Those of you when you get a chance to watch this, no telling when you're going to watch it. You can watch this 2 years from now. We are going through a pandemic right now, the coronavirus. Prayers out to everyone who has been infected. Please continue to practice your social distancing and stay safe washing your hands. That is the best protection, is still washing your hands. So enough of that. Annie, tell us what's going on. What has happened in your life, in your career up until now? And we'll get into the juices. I'm excited to hear this.
Well, okay. So thank you so much for having me, first of all. Thank you. I'm so appreciative. And yes, we did meet on Women Helping Women Entrepreneur Facebook group. And I was so thrilled to have you as a guest on my show. So thank you very, very much. So since then, oh my gosh, slew of things. You hit it on the nail. I was a performing arts major forever and ever. And then just hate auditioning, just hate it. So I decided to went back to school, first of all, I had a family, had kids, went back to school and pursued a communications degree in public relations emphasis, minor in radio, TV, film, and then my master's in communications. So today, fast forward to today, I am a Twitch streamer, variety streamer. I'm also as you said, I am a host of my own show called The Annie Talk Show, and I just absolutely love it. So these are the ways that I get to reach out to so many different people from a slew of countries, and on Twitch, this is how I connect with them, and that's what I do. So now I'm a variety streamer, and I still host my podcast show.
Okay, so this is interesting. So for those who don't know, tell us I know what Twitch is, but tell us what is Twitch?
Well, Twitch started off first as a platform for gamers, a way in which they could showcase share playing games with other people. First, it started like with, your own friends, and then it just grew and grew and grew. And now more and more people from all over the world can tap into your stream and watch you, and, you become a community. And in my case, I am a gamer per se, but not a gamer. I'm not hardcore first person shooter, but I play a game called Twitch Sings, which I love to sing, as hence the singing and dancing from way back when. So I bring that into my own stream. I have my own show called The Annie Talk Show on Twitch, and I'm a Twitch Sings streamer. There you go, variety streamer, and I do play games. And this is the way that I get to communicate and reach out to people with like-minded individuals like myself. And, it's just super fun, and I love it. And the community is growing, and it's just a way for all of us to stay together. And again, from all over the world. So I've got friends from New Zealand, from Tahiti, from, London and Europe, and oh my gosh, everywhere. So it's a lot of fun.
Okay. So oh my God, this is so exciting. So a lot has changed since we last talked. Yeah. So you still have your Annie Talks podcast.
Yes.
You kind of switched that over, or kind of created a different avenue, and you have now put that on Twitch. So you have your Annie Talks talk show on Twitch.
Yes.
Do you have are your podcast and your talk show two separate topics, or how are you maintaining it? How is that working for those out there who want to get started in this land?
The answer to your question is yes, they are two different platforms per se. Like, I will host a live podcast on Twitch and stream it over to, say, Facebook or other platforms. And it's another tool to be able to reach a variety of demographics. And the guests that I still have my entertainers, and I still have people like yourself, entrepreneurs. We'll talk about different subjects. Oftentimes we just kind of talk, shoot in the breeze, basically, and talk about current times, the state of the world, or we'll just share music. And we think, the way that I feel, my community or this community, we can connect through music. And it's a beautiful way. It's very universal. The language is universal. It's music. It's sharing love. It's sharing harmony, sharing music. And this is the way that we get to reach out to many, many people. So people who want to join the platform, you can. It's free. Twitch is free. Download the game, Twitch Sings. I just gave a plug for Twitch. There you go. So it's just yeah, for sure. It's so much fun. So come with me. Come join my stream and sing along with me. You too, Marla. Come sing with me.
Yeah, I'm thinking, because I know about Twitch because of the company that I worked at. We got into the twitching realm. So that's how I first found out about Twitch. I'm like, what is Twitch? And so I never thought about joining myself. But you know me, I like to get outside the box. So I'm looking. My brain, my favorite word is noodle. So my brain is noodling right now. So we'll talk about that later. I do want to go back, because you mentioned about auditioning and acting and singing. Tell us, for those that are because this is a multifaceted interview here. So tell us about those who are interested in getting into the acting, singing realm. Why were you so nervous about auditioning? Is it hard, or is it hard to get into that particular industry? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's very competitive, just like anything else. It's very competitive. You really have to have thick skin and really, take it for what it's worth, a grain of salt. If you can withhold the constructive criticism, as let's just say that, and learn from it and learn how to grow, get better, and improve in areas that you feel, need improvement, fine. It's all great for you. I loved it. I really love performing it. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's just, I think it was so competitive, in such, maybe way back when it was a little bit more competitive, because there wasn't people like me on shows or cast in shows or, in movies. By that, I mean, my color, my skin, my ethnicity. There wasn't a lot of that. So today, fast forward, 10, 15 years or 15, 20 years later, I just aged myself. 15, 20 years later, it's a whole different world. So, there's much more opportunity for people like me and for people like us to go out and get jobs. But then it was super hard. So that was my biggest thing. I couldn't do it. Yes, I would freeze up when you're singing in auditions. You only get to sing 18 or 16 to 18 bars worth of music. And to me, I didn't feel it was enough to show my personality or how I could get into a character. So for me, I felt like, it wasn't for me. I love to sing, and I feel I still want to be able to do that. And I have the gift, God gave me this gift, and I'll use it another way. So I found other ways to get creative and use it. And that's what I do today. So I'm able to at least bring that part into my platforms and share that in the way that I do with Annie Talk Show.
Wow, that is so amazing. That story, that I can unpackage that so much, guys. You guys know I love to talk, but so I won't go too deep. But I love how you said have thick skin and be readily to accept the constructive criticism, because it's going to be out there. Even with anything you do. I mean, I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, like, we can get 20 great comments or 20 great reviews, and it's that one negative review. We're stuck on that review for the rest of our life. Like, oh my God, can't believe they wrote that. Why do they hate me? But we have 20, 30, 40 other great reviews out there. We're not giving those people any attention, so you gotta be able to hone that back in. So tell us, how did you take that skill, take that constructive criticism, and have the nerve to create a podcast? Because podcasting industry has blown up. I don't have a podcast. Eventually, I would like to possibly turn, double this as a podcast, but I haven't done it yet because it's extra work. I have a lot of stuff going on, so you have to do your lane. But tell me a little bit how you've been able to take that constructive criticism and push it over into the podcast world.
So when I said that I went back in, when I was in school and I was a performing arts major, I was really disheartened that I didn't go forward with it, because I knew that's what I really love to do. I love to perform, I love to sing, I love to act. But I also I was very interested in the world of radio. I've had people tell me that you have a good voice for radio, or as I say, the face for radio, right? So when I went back to school and I pursued a journalism, that's what I first started out with, is a journalism degree. And it was a professor that told me that journalism is kind of an outgoing, or, going out business. It's a dying business. Newspapers are dying. So you might want to, go into something a little bit more broad. And I said, okay, well, what do you think? And he says, public relations is great. Broadcast journalism is also great. See how you can marry the two. And, that struck a chord with me, because journalism was something I really loved to do. Photography was something I loved to do. Performing is something I love to do. And broadcasting, this, talking and reporting the news or talking about things was also something I really enjoyed to do. So I wanted to see how I could bring all of those things together. And, back when YouTube, when it first started, I used to think, oh, I didn't have the nerve to do a YouTube channel. And then the more and more I kept watching people just grow and do their thing, on YouTube, I kept saying, I could do that. I know I could do that. And sure enough, you know what? I just stopped talking about it and just did it. And one year, I think it was 2016 to be exact, and I just said, you know what? I'm going to create a YouTube channel. It was the most nerve-wracking thing in the world. I kept thinking, oh my God, because all I read was people say, just do it, just create it. Start with your first video. You can never grow until you jump in. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm all in. And I went in. I was nervous. I was so intimidated. And then when I look back, it's so cringy. When I look back at that first video, I think, oh my God, what was I thinking? But then when I look at all the other videos after that and all the other videos after that, I kept thinking, you know what? I did improve, and I am improving, and I'm still getting, better. I'm changing up the format to kind of meet everybody's needs and see how people, want to receive the information or receive the, the performances or receive the podcast. So I'm still changing up things, and it's never ever, set in stone. It's always being able, like I said, having thick skin and being able to be flexible and then go with the changes. That's kind of the nature of the podcast, or the nature of this business, as they say. So that's how I married all of these things together: performing, acting, singing, dancing, with journalism, with broadcasting is in this platform, the YouTube channel, the podcast, and now the Twitch stream. So it's amazing. And I am so thankful that, that one professor told me, don't be married to one genre, learn it all and learn it well. And when somebody says you could to go out and, if you could do it, say yes, and then find a way to go do it. And that's exactly what I did. It took so long. I felt like Pam from The Office, where it took her 4 years to get the nerve up to, tell Jim that she liked him. Same for me. I've all these things I wanted to do and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to doing it because I was scared. I was nervous. I was worried about what the world was going to think. I finally just said, just do it. And you know what? I haven't looked back since.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it reminds me so much of myself, because when you said about 2016 is when I was going through a rough time. And then, so 2017, I said the same thing about my talk show. I said, I'm just going to do it. And here I am coming up on 3 years, 36 episodes getting ready to come up. And I'm just like, I just did it. I still don't have all the proper lighting, still don't have all the big fancy cameras and all that, but I'm still doing it. And the content is what's mattering. People are
that's
like,
it.
Some good shows, Marla. And that's what I want to provide. I want the world to see, or the audience to see, that I can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I can do that too. I don't want people to look at what other people have and say, oh, I can't do that. Yes, you can. That's why I'm creating these talk shows. Yes, you can. If that's what you want to do. If you don't want to do it, then don't worry about it. But if that's what you want to do, if you want to create a podcast, listen to this podcast, listen to this talk show here. I have other ones I have other guests that I've interviewed that have podcasts. Listen to those and move forward. So I love how you said that. I also love how you said that you had someone to tell you, don't stick with one thing.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, guys. Don't take this out of proportion. Yes, focusing on one thing is good. Yes, learning. Like the one thing I'm focusing on this year is writing. But still get outside the box and explore everything. Learn a little bit about everything, learn a little bit about cleaning, learn a little bit about writing, learn a little bit about podcasting, learn a little bit about everything. Like I knew a little bit about Twitch, but not enough, so just learn some things. And like you said, you can marry all of that together. I love how you have done that. So someone that wants to get into the podcasting, get into this multimedia world, because it's huge. I mean, it is huge. Someone who wants to get into this field, what are the top 3 skills they need? But I know you said thick skin, right? We need to have that. But what are some other skills that someone would need, you would think?
Well, I think you also need to have the will, just have the will to do it. If you have that passion, the will will come, if that makes any sense, because you already have that drive. You already have that interest. You already, you've probably done all your research and looked around and looked at the different platforms that are out there. If you have that will and that passion, just go do it. And like my professor said, learn everything and learn everything well. When he said, don't stick to one genre, that was the most important thing that anybody had ever said, because I thought there was only one way to write journalism or to do journalism. I thought there was only one way to do photography. And that's what I was trying to, I kept thinking, well, how do these people do it? And how do they come up with these creative, beautiful, portraits and how do they write so well? But you know what? Great to learn the bases, like the basics rather, ABCs, right? Everybody learns the ABCs. Now it's how you can make that into your own. And that's what I had to learn. I had to learn and figure it out for myself. And then also, whenever there's an opportunity, when it presents itself, jump on it. You may not get that opportunity again. It could be a hidden opportunity. It presents itself once. And if you don't stop, listen, stay quiet, and hear what the message is and see what that opportunity is. If you don't jump on it, you might have missed your opportunity. And that was the thing that back in 2016, I kept thinking, I can't like just keep saying and not do it. I have to jump on it. And that's exactly what I did. So I think just having the will, right? The will and the passion, they go hand in hand, and then learning everything and then just jump on your opportunities.
I love that you said that, because so many times, even just to start a business, I do consulting for small businesses and stuff. And one of the first things they tell me is, well, I don't have all that. I don't have this. I don't have that. Start with what you have. Nobody starts off in business with everything that they need. My God, Amazon started in a garage selling a couple of books. A couple of books. Seriously. I think he mailed off one book. You know, and look at it now. I mean, you got to have, I love that you said you got to have the will, because it's not going to happen tomorrow.
Exactly.
You got to have the will and the passion and the drive. Does it wake you? And I always tell people, if it wakes you up in the morning, what can you do that you can do, keep doing forever, that you don't have to get paid for? That's it. You know, I can coach, teach, educate, and not get paid for. I love this stuff. I love seeing people. I have a true passion for seeing people grow and develop. You know, so I could do that all day long and not get paid for that all day long. You know, so that's what wakes you up. So I love that you said that you got to have that will. And I love how you said your professor, that was one of the key things your professor told you, was to get outside of your box and learn everything, learn a little bit about everything. Don't be afraid to go out there. So what were some of your search things did you use? Was it YouTube University? Because I'm a YouTube University freak. I stay on YouTube. But what are some areas, or where did you go to learn stuff? What did you do?
Good question. I went on YouTube and I started following everybody. Like I did a YouTube search saying, you know, most influential or, you know, top YouTubers out there. So I started following them and looking how they did their content. And I kind of I took it all in and basically and said, well, how could I do that? How could I do that? And a lot of them said the same thing. Don't worry about your equipment. Don't worry about how you're going to start it. Just do it. Because they all started out same as me. You know, they just recorded their very, very first video and they were all cringy and cringeworthy. And then they learned from that, right? So then I started building up the equipment. I started saving and buying the cameras, and because I'm a photographer already, so I already had some of that knowledge. And then I love technology. I love it. So I wanted to learn more about how to do videos. I'm self-taught basically in editing. So I learned how to edit. I learned how to create what we call these podcasts. I turned the videos into podcasts because, okay, now that I had the videos and now I had the content, I still have this little piece of me that wants to do radio. So what can I do for radio? I learned how to do that. I Googled it and looked for top podcasts and wondered, how do you create a podcast? To me, I felt podcasts were, you know, things of the past, because remember when podcasts first started, they were, you know, it was like an Apple product and you didn't really know how to create podcasts. But then and then I started listening to more and more podcasts and following people. Again, same as I did with the YouTubers, is I would follow podcasters and find out what do they do. And then I started learning about how to create your own thumbnails and you get creative using the technology. I love graphics. I was so determined to produce myself, to broadcast myself. And now that you have these tools, you had podcasts, now you have YouTube. I wanted to do it for myself and I didn't want to have to rely on anybody else. I couldn't rely on other people. It was a hurry up and wait game, and I couldn't hurry up and wait because I knew that there's a way to do it and I wanted to figure out how to do it. Self-taught, lifelong learner, and I just brought everything together, learned how to do different things, and then I just did it. I had to, because it was the only thing that was keeping me from pursuing what I wanted to do was me.
You said it. You said the key words, lifelong learner.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You have to be a lifelong learner, guys. If you say, "Oh, I'm done with school," okay, great. You don't have to be a lifelong academic learner.
Right.
So that's fine. Get the degrees and be done with that. But you still have to keep learning something. Learn something. Even if it's, you learn from watching TV. I've gotten tons of blog ideas and business ideas from just watching episodes of different TV shows and different series, because my brain is always moving. So I look past what's going on the TV. I'm like, I can add that in there. So there's all kinds of ways
right.
to do it. So I love this, Annie. So tell the world, how can they get in contact with you, just in case they had more questions before we get to our fun question?
Sure. So you can find me on YouTube. You can just Google me anywhere. Just look for Annie Talks or Annie Talk Show. You'll find me everywhere. Annie Talks TV. I've got a YouTube channel, Instagram, Annie Talks, Twitter, Annie Talks, Facebook, Annie Talks, and now my Twitch stream, Annie Talk Show. So you can look for me everywhere. I'm pretty much there. So, and I have also my website, which is annietalks.com.
Okay, and all of these will be linked down below, guys. All of that, everything you just said. So, down to the fun question, the most exciting part.
Yay.
So tell the world what is something that they don't know about Annie that you can legally say on this
Sure.
well, to be heard in the world.
So I sang for an entertainment company many, many years ago, and we sang up and down Disneyland and so on and so forth. But we were also contracted by the Los Angeles Lakers, and I actually have sung the national anthem at the Lakers game 3 years in a row for Christmas. So yeah, that's one thing that most people don't know or probably forgot.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's something people would not know. This is why I asked this fun question, because I'm just nosy. I like to know about people. So
yeah, no worries. Me too. Glad to share.
I am. I'm interested to know what are some fun things that you've done. So that's amazing. How exciting was that? Oh my God.
It was very exciting at the time. The 3 years that I've been there, I think twice I brought either my dad or my brother, but alternated. And my father's since passed, but that was one of his favorite things was watching the Lakers. And when he came with me, he was like a little kid in a candy store touching things. I'm like, don't touch that. Nope, don't touch that. So I was telling the parents, stop it. It was so funny, but it was a thrill for me to bring my dad before he passed. So yeah.
That is amazing. Well, thank you so much, Annie. We appreciate it. This has been golden. This is why I love doing these shows, because I learn too, because I'm a lifelong learner. I have not got to the point where I have arrived to where I know everything. So
Same.
We'll never get there. So this is why I do them, to share with the world that you can do it too. If you want to create a podcast, here it is. If you want to do something, here it is. That's why I do these shows. Thank you so much, Annie. And of course, guys, we have another great episode coming up next month, episode number 35. Another great guest on tap. So we're ready to roll. You guys be safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Marla. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye, everyone.